Is officially the month of April.
That's big news. You want to know why?
Why?
Because we're going to PAX East.
Ooh.
Also spicy.
So spicy. I'm really excited. I've never been to a convention like that.
I went to DreamHack in Atlanta, but it was esports, and it was before I had even like the slightest, teensiest, tiniest bit of interest in esports. Not to say that I have interest now, but at least I am aware.
How dare you?
Like, people were geeking out over Team Liquid, and I was like, who? But at least now I know who they are. Like, I have at least some idea.
I had a boss, like a while back while I was in grad school, and anytime I would bring up video games in any way whatsoever, they would be like, yeah, esports. I heard esports is huge. I'd be talking about like Persona or something, and I'm like, no, actually. I mean, I do like esports. Like, at the time I was really into Overwatch League, which I'm not really anymore.
Rip.
Although it might get cool again with Overwatch. Anyways, I digress. But I think that's so funny that now when people are like, I like video games, like, people who aren't as into the video game sphere is like, yeah, esports, trying to be relatable. And it's just like, yes, but no. Like, thank you for trying, but like, ooh.
Can I tell you the funniest thing from the PAX exhibitors list?
What?
I don't think you noticed this when we were looking through it. So, there's a group of, like, I guess parents. I don't know why I associated them with moms initially, but
good.
There's this group of parents of people who are raising the future esports wonders of the world, you know? And their acronym for their, I can't remember what it stands for, but their acronym is COPE.
Oh, no. I think I did see COPE. I was like, oh, cool, mental health. Like, that's great.
It's like the Coalition of Parents in Esports or something like that. I think that's what it is.
Coalition of Online Parents in Esports or something.
Yeah.
That'd be so funny.
I want to know. We're Googling it.
But, no, I'm really excited for PAX East, specifically because Xseed and Marvelous are going to be there. Which, if you are not familiar with Xseed or Marvelous, they make a little title called Rune Factory 5. Or Story of Seasons now. They make Story of Seasons. And once we get to where we play and what we're watching later in the episode, we need to talk a little bit about Rune Factory 5.
Do we need to talk about it?
We need to talk about it.
Okay.
We have to.
I've been living it. Oh, also update, I googled it. It is in fact the Coalition of Parents in Esports, COPE. It was founded by parents of professional gamers.
That's delightful.
And it's a 501c3 nonprofit.
Ooh.
So if you get volunteer days at work,
you can do that. That's really funny. Want to do some community service? Just COPE.
Just COPE. I love that they're called COPE. It's like, take some nice copium when you lose. I think.
Oh, we haven't introduced the podcast yet. Welcome back to ThoughtCast, the video game and anime podcast. I'm John.
And I'm Allie.
And today, we are not going to be coping. We're going to be reminiscing. See what I did there?
Oh dear.
That was as smooth as gravel.
I love it.
But we wanted to talk about, just because with Chrono Cross coming out this week.
Oh, yeah.
We were feeling nostalgic about old consoles that we liked. And then we just started thinking about consoles in general. And so my question the thing I am posing to not only you, but also everyone listening to this podcast, which, if you haven't rated us 5 stars yet, make sure to rate us 5 stars, like the video, whatever you can do to get us in good with the algorithm gods, because we greatly appreciate it.
If you write a review on Apple Podcasts, I will cry.
It's a good cry, too.
Such a good cry. That'll be the best day of my life.
But the question that I am posing to all of us is, what is your favorite console, like, ever?
Ever?
Or let's do, like, top 2. Top 2.
Okay. I am thinking.
This wasn't premeditated at all.
Well, no, you gotta decide between the nostalgia pick and which one you think objectively is just the best.
Okay, that's true.
Because that's like, honestly, that's what it boils down to.
I mean, objectively for yourself. Objectively, subjectively. So, I have an answer. I'm going to start with my runner-up.
Okay, smart.
Okay. Because I think you know what my number 1 is.
I mean, I think I know what your runner-up is, too.
Well,
wait, would your runner-up be the nostalgia pick? I think it would be.
You're correct.
Ooh!
Wait, tell me what you think my runner-up is.
Huh, okay. So...
I like this game.
I know that you wouldn't go for a portable because you don't really like portable stuff. I mean,
No.
excluding the Switch, but I think that's your number 1 because you have not let go of the Switch since you've gotten it, so... But, okay, so your runner-up, if it's a nostalgia pick, then I think you have the most nostalgia with the PlayStation 2, because that's what you grew up with. So, PlayStation 2.
Huh. Yeah.
Did I read you too well?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No, 100% PS2. And I feel like this conversation in particular is interesting because it's so profoundly like what your experience with a console was. So like I never had a PlayStation 1. And a lot of my favorite games are technically from the PlayStation 1, right? Mm-hmm. But because I played them all on the PS2, because that's what my brother bought, that's what we had, that's where I played all these games on. And so I have no emotional connection to the PlayStation 1, even though I love games like Breath of Fire 3, Breath of Fire 4, you know, a lot like the different Final Fantasies that were like Final Fantasy 7, 8,
Final Fantasy
9.
8.
Like, I love Final Fantasy 9, by far my favorite Final Fantasy, but I don't have the same connection with the console generation itself, and I can only name so many PlayStation 1 games. However, PlayStation 2 is just, and I feel like this is not a hot take at all, but it's just chef's kiss.
It was very good.
In every sense of the word. Because, okay. I am, I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but the first game on the PS2, if my memory serves me well, that I ever got was, or my brother ever got was Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, okay. Well, suddenly this all makes sense.
So, before the PS2, the most high-tech console that we owned was the Sega Saturn.
Oh, you didn't have an N64? I guess I did know that.
No, did not have an N64. Like, we didn't even have the Super Nintendo. We had the OG Nintendo and then a Sega Saturn, where the highest visual fidelity game that we owned was Sonic R, which is probably why I loved it so much.
Makes sense.
Because it looked good compared to literally everything else. So one of like the first like core memories I have with a 3D game that like looked great was Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, okay, so that makes sense. So when everyone else was geeking out over, like, Super Mario 64, and then later Ocarina of Time for having 3D graphics, and, like, that being their intro to 3D, your intro to 3D was Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, like in all earnestness, yeah, like, I played, like, Super Mario 64 at, like, friends' houses, and I, like, played the N64, technically, but yes, in terms of games that I could play for more than 45 minutes at a time, whether it's, like, on a timer of, like, GameStop or something like that, yes, Kingdom Hearts was essentially my intro to that, which, like, is crazy thinking back on it, because Kingdom Hearts is literally made to be like, how can we compete with Mario? Well, you need to be Disney to compete with Mario. We should make a Disney game. And Kingdom Hearts was Square Enix's solution to that, which is why the first game is much more platformery, as well as, like, the action combat.
Yeah, makes sense.
But yes, so I love the PS2, like, beyond words. And then other titles like Sly Cooper, which is beyond amazing. The whole Dot Hack franchise came out on the PS2. Even, like, the Lord of the Rings games. Did you ever play the Lord of the Rings games?
I did not.
They are absolute top tier. I'm actively looking at our bookshelf right now to see if we have any. We do! I'm gonna make you play the Two Towers. No, I won't. I won't put you through that. There's a little bit of jank to it now.
Okay.
But they're really good. They're, like, astonishingly good for movie tie-in games.
Wow. That's not something that happens very often.
No, they're so good. And then, like, this is when Ratchet and Clank took off, and Jak and Daxter. And it was an era full of banger after banger. I loved renting games for my PS2. Did you have a PS2?
I did have a PS2, but I had to buy it myself. So I grew up with a PS1. We got it on Christmas one year. I don't remember how old I was when we got it, because I was, like, baby. We got an N64 and we got a PS1, and I don't remember which one we got first, but we got both of them significantly after they had come out. Anyways, so the only games that I had played on PS1 until I was, like, 8 years old, which I know, wow, what a jump from, like, being 3 to being 8. But the only games I ever played were, like, Chrono Cross and Tony Hawk, Pro Skater, whatever. But we already had that on N64, so I was more into the N64 version. And some Pac-Man game that I don't remember what it was. But it was, like, Pac-Man 3D on PlayStation 1 or something like that. And let me see. I can't think of another one. But then when I was 8, we got Harvest Moon Back to Nature, and I bought that used at a GameStop. 10 out of 10 would recommend. And then
buying it used specifically from a GameStop?
Well, yeah, I don't
Nowhere
think you
else.
can. I don't think you can do that anymore.
I'm sure there's a GameStop somewhere.
That sells used PS1 games?
I'm sure. There has to be.
I hope so, because I want to go there and get some used PS1 games. Yeah, I can't think of another game I played on PS1. Oh, wait, no, I lied. Final Fantasy VIII, duh.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
because we already brought that one up. It was already out of my memory bank.
You're like, it's gone.
It's gone. I never made it very far. I'm not good at games like that, so... But yeah, I never really played too much. But then I really, really, really wanted to play The Sims 2. And so I did, like, a butt ton of chores. And I saved up for a PS2. And I got The Sims 3 or Sims 2. It was The Sims 2. But I got it when The Sims 3 came out on PC. Because I wanted to play The Sims 3. But our computer wasn't good enough. And so I couldn't play it on PC. So instead I got The Sims 2 for PlayStation 2.
Oh, that's a next level jank.
Honestly, I kind of really liked it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because, okay, you couldn't, from my understanding, you couldn't just, like, do whatever you wanted. you had to, like, do certain things. Like, there were, like, tasks you had to do. Like, you had to have them reach a certain point in their career, and you could make your own sim, but it was janky, but it was still kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's the reason why I fell in love with later games like My Sims, because they were janky and they weren't as good as just playing The Sims. But, like, they had a certain charm to it if you were a completionist, because you had tasks you had to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like PS2 was very elevated in my mind because I have such a, not disdain, but disinterest in PS3 and Xbox 360.
Mm-hmm.
So PS2 was all I had for the longest time because I really love JRPGs. And there are so many amazing JRPGs on the PlayStation 2 that with PS3 and Xbox 360, they had like Final Fantasy 13, which people don't love. And I think Xbox 360 had like a Blue Dragon, and like that's when the first Ni no Kuni, which people like that generation is when that all happened. Like if you look at PS2, it feels like a very distinct era of JRPG. And, like, game in general. Like, a lot of games really came into their own and franchises came into their own on that console. You know, Final Fantasy X was huge for the Final Fantasy franchise. That's when Persona 3 and Persona 4 came out. And as a little middle schooler, I loved Persona 3, which, looking back, I should not have been allowed to play Persona 3 with the very explicit themes and themes of death, and I don't think my parents knew what I was playing, but luckily my brother let me play his game anyways.
The bonus of having an older sibling and also parents who aren't aware because you're the youngest and they're like, yeah, whatever.
And I think they trusted Paul's judgment.
Yeah.
Which is my brother's name. And I don't know if that was the correct choice. Oh, and that's when, like, Disgaea. That's like, have I told you about Disgaea before?
I recognize this name, and I feel like you've shown me something about it.
It's like a strategy game. It's like you go on like a essentially a chessboard-esque kind of thing, and you have very quirky units where they're all demons. And you fight, and it's almost like a Fire Emblem-y kind of. That's the best way to kind of describe it.
Okay.
And it's so. I don't like the franchise that much anymore. But at the time, I was like, this is so edgy and cool and fun. Because they say swear words.
They said swear words?
I was in the Boy Scouts growing up. Just because I liked the Pinewood Derby.
Oh my gosh, you were that nerd?
I was that nerd.
I married the Pinewood Derby nerd.
I got, like, 6th place one year.
Oh my gosh.
That's, like, pretty good.
Sloan.
It's pretty good. I had a Lord of the Rings themed car.
Oh my gosh.
It was great. I made it shaped like a sword, and it had a little ring on it. Yeah. Anyways, I digress. I didn't like anyone in my troop. If anyone from my troop is listening, sorry. I guess I didn't like you.
Sorry I hated you, but was my judgment wrong?
I don't even remember any of them. And if you remember me somehow and can recognize me on this podcast, like, let's reconnect. But...
Let's reconnect even though I hated your middle school self.
Okay, no, we were in elementary school. I quit by elementary school.
Oh, okay.
By the end of elementary school. This was long ago. In
the before times?
In the before times. Dark times. I had a point to this story, but it's completely, like, flown out the window. No, wait, it's returned.
Oh.
I went to... I went to Scouts one day. And I was, like, bragging, because I was like, I get to play video games with swear words in it. And my dad was like, no, stop, don't tell them that. Stop it. And he was so embarrassed. I was like, why? You said I could play it. And he was like, no, stop it.
Oh, no.
And I was like, what's the big deal? Like, it's just a swear word. And I was like in like 4th grade or something. It's because I got to play .hack infection for the first time after begging my brother to let me play it for like 3 weeks. I'm sorry. I have a lot of feelings. He would hide games from me.
Who, Paul or your dad?
My brother.
Oh, same.
He would hide games from me. Despicable behavior, I might say.
Yeah, you know how many times I had Harvest Moon 64 shoved into the back of a closet that I like, at the very top part, and my little 5-year-old legs couldn't reach it? I just wanted to look at the cows, okay? They were cute.
Would your sibling ever, like, let you know that they bought a game? And then hide it and refuse to tell you what it was and would only play it when you weren't there?
Okay, so I think that would have happened if I had a bedtime, but I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So my
That's
parents were very relaxed with me. I don't know why. I think it's just because they were like old and tired and sick. My parents are very much older. Like, my dad just turned 70, like, much older. I was the most planned baby of all time. Anyways, okay. So they just, like, gave up with me. I don't know. That sounds much worse than it is, but they were just very tired and sick and old. Mm-hmm. And so with my older brother, they were much stricter, and they're like, you have to go to bed at this time. You have to wake up to go to school, and it's really early, and my older brother is like 8 years older than me, so there was quite a difference when I was 5, and like, they were in high school or whatever. And so I didn't have a strict bedtime like my brother did. Mm-hmm. I would stay up late and watch Inuyasha and Rurouni Kenshin, and I would play the N64 and just, like, do whatever I wanted until my parents were like, okay, no, kid, like, you really gotta go to bed. It's like 11:30, like, you really gotta go to bed. And so, yeah, my brother never really got a chance to play games when I wasn't awake, because I was always awake.
See, my brother had, when he eventually went to college, he had a TV in his room. And so he had his, like, PlayStation 2 Slim, because he is a cool guy with college money, which I now know is non-existent. Don't know how he got that.
Yeah.
But anyways, so he would hide it in there. Also, he's great. I'm just saying, I'm putting that out there. He was a villain in my childhood for not letting me see the games, but it kind of, like, made it fun, because when I eventually did learn what the game he was hiding was, I'd be like, whoa, that's so cool! And that's literally why I like JRPGs, is because he wouldn't let me play them. And then when he did let me play them, I don't know if I even liked them. Like, I just was like, yeah, I can play them now.
I don't think I ever told you what happened with me and Chrono Cross, because it's kind of similar to what you're saying. Okay, Chrono Cross is one of the games that my brother hid from me, and he would try and play it when I wasn't around, or if I was, like, at a neighbor kid's house or something like that. Yeah. But I was in love with it when I did get to see it, and I would always play the opening cutscene, and I fell in love with just everything with it. Never made it very far, because I was dumb and also didn't know how to read, because I was 5. Anyways.
Fair play.
So, all in the span of, like, 2 years, my brother bought Chrono Cross, hid it from me, then started playing it in front of me, then hid it from me again because I wanted to play it, and I didn't know how to read. So it was frustrating for them to watch me play it. Understood, because I didn't know how to read. Watching anyone who doesn't know how to read try and play a JRPG that relies on you knowing how to read would probably
especially that one.
Yeah.
That one's confusing if you do know how to read.
Quite. So then, after that, I guess he got so frustrated with the game because he wasn't very good at games. Like, sorry about it, but it took him 20 years to beat Dodongo's Cavern from Ocarina of Time. So, like, I feel like that qualifies you as being bad at games. Okay, so he was bad at games. So he went and sold Chrono Cross at a GameStop. And sold it, and I had to stand there, and I cried, and I was like, why did you sell Chrono Cross? What's wrong with you? And he's like, well, I want to get a better game. And I'm like, that's the best game. And he's like, how do you know? You don't even know how to read. And you can't play it. And so I was very upset. And then a couple months later, after me crying, and then him being like, you know what? After illegally downloading Chrono Trigger and playing that emulator or whatever, he was like, you know what? Chrono Cross is good. And I was like, I told you it was good. It's so pretty. We need to go get it. We need to get Chrono Cross back. And so then we got it back. And then I, for some reason, thought that it needed to be prettier, so I covered it in glitter nail polish, and then I don't know what happened after that. Well, not the disc, just the cover.
Oh, okay.
And it was very sparkly. And pretty. But then it got, like, super scratched up from, like...
Can't imagine.
And not me. It wasn't my fault. It was his fault, because he didn't believe in putting discs away, and then he bled that over to me. But I've since done better, and all of our Switch cartridges and all of our games have been very well organized. I've taken good care of them.
That's very true.
But he gave me the toxic trait of never putting games away in their packaging.
Yeah, my brother wasn't happy with me when I didn't put the discs in the right case.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, you know, whatever. I was a child. And so, with that said... That's my number 2 favorite console. What is your number 2?
Well, I guess yours, so you should guess mine, I guess, huh?
Okay. You're better at these games than me. I think that if I had to take a guess, is the Nintendo 64 in your top 2? Because the reason why I'm hesitant is because I know you love a lot of games on it. You love Ocarina of Time, you love Pokemon Snap, you love Harvest Moon 64, but there's just not a lot of games on the N64. So at risk of losing the game, I'm going to go with Nintendo 64, but I have a follow-up guess if I am incorrect.
You are incorrect.
Okay, follow-up guess.
Okay.
Follow-up guess. If it's not the N64... Wow, really? It's not?
No.
Okay.
I know it's surprising, but I just don't have a lot of games.
That's fair. Which, like, to be fair, that was one of the things. Okay. If it's not that, then I know you rave about the Nintendo DS. A cat just jumped onto my back while I was talking. But I'm going to take that as a sign that it's correct. And you talk about Nintendo DS games a lot, whether it's games like Spirit Tracks for Legend of Zelda. I know you have a complicated relationship with Nintendogs. But that's my next guess. You like Harvest Moon DS. That's my next guess, is the Nintendo DS.
Ding, 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 ding!
Boom! You know what? First was a no-go. I feel like the first one was a good guess still, though.
It was. I mean, I have heavy nostalgia with the N64. And weirdly enough, it's still my favorite controller. I know that that's, like, ridiculous to say.
You're right.
But I like it.
I mean, it has a certain charm to it. I don't like playing with it because I didn't grow up with it, but it has such a distinct look to it.
I love it.
And such a distinct vibe to it that I can see why you would love it.
It just feels right in my hands.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to describe it. But okay, so the Nintendo DS, it just, I mean, like, that was just, like, peak portable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, peak. I know Switch, portable, whatever. Okay, yeah, sure. But
I feel like even still, though,
DS was affordable.
mm-hmm.
Like, almost everyone had one. And then PictoChat. Oh my gosh. Like, we grew up in the time period in which we would go on these little band trips, right? Or you'd go on, like, school trips. And cell phones were still, like, kind of new, but enough people had them that they were starting to be regulated.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, I guess I'm thinking smartphones. But, like, everyone had, like, flip phones or, like, the slide phones, pretty much.
No, 100%.
And so those especially were being regulated on trips. And so when you would go on a school trip, if you wanted to be able to talk to whoever was, you know, whatever seat at the front of the bus, then you would go on PictoChat. And everyone would get on PictoChat and we'd, like, draw stuff for each other. And then we'd be like, okay, Mario, who wants to play Mario Kart? You guys want to play Mario Kart?
Mario,
and then,
the DS download play was elite.
It was so good. Playing Mario Kart on a bus for a school field trip was peak gaming for me.
Oh my goodness, the battle modes too, where the stage where you would drive around on the Nintendo DS.
Yes.
With the balloons.
Yes.
And if you died, you still got to play as a ghost.
Yes.
Oh, peak. That's when I fell in love with Shy Guy.
Right?
Oh
my gosh, I loved it so much. I loved going on PictoChat and, like, drawing in the whole thing black and then doing a little tiny smile with the eraser. Like, I don't know, it was so good.
I did not have that experience of playing it on the bus because I wasn't allowed to take mine to school.
Oh.
Just because I probably would have lost it, to be fair.
Yeah.
I lose everything I own at least once every other day, even to this day.
Yes, you do.
So, probably good call on my parents' part. But I would take it to sleepovers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, elite. Absolutely elite PictoChat. And, like, the fun thing is everything we've talked about to this point, like the PictoChat, the Mario Kart, you don't actually need the game. Only one person needs Mario Kart.
Exactly.
So much fun. And then games like, I know you probably haven't played this, but, like, there was a game called Metroid Prime Hunters.
Oh, no, I did not play that.
Where you play as a bounty hunter, like Samus, but it's almost not a battle royale, but kinda, where you all fight each other. And that had DS download play too. So only one person needed that game. So much fun. So it was probably bad in retrospect, but oh my goodness, chef's kiss.
Yeah, I just have so many good memories with the DS. And I just love how so many people had it. So the multiplayer aspect of it was just really, really fun. And with the DS, you could have Diamond or Pearl, right?
Yeah,
And then the secret bases.
Oh, like the Underground?
The Underground, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Which, the Underground's like fun. Actually, the Underground in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl sucks.
Kinda, yeah.
Like, because the bases are just like the statues in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. Like, remember how stoked you would be to get a tent?
Oh my gosh.
The tents. Elite. Absolutely. You could add so much personality and flair to the secret bases, or like the underground bases in OG Diamond Pearl Platinum. Oh, and then finding your friend's bases, playing hide and seek in the underground. Oh.
And then I had that one, I went to a Scholastic book fair, right, of course, and I bought...
As one does.
I bought one of those, or maybe I didn't buy it there. I don't know. But I did buy Pokemon books from the Scholastic Book Fair, and it was during the Diamond and Pearl era. Yeah. And I also got the Player's Guide. And I didn't, like, read it, really. I just liked the maps. Because I don't know, I was, like, a big graphic design nerd, even at that age, and I really liked maps. And so I just wanted to look at the map of the underground and, like, where everything was and how it all connected. And, like, oh, if you were here, then you were, like, underneath Mount Coronet. And, like, I just thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
And so I would look at the maps and I'd, like, try and figure out where my friends were located and where there were traps, and I'd like make little notes.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. Oh my gosh, such good memories with it.
Yeah.
But other games I played, I, like you said, was obsessed with Harvest Moon DS.
Yes.
So much fun. And then you also, because the DS was backwards compatible with Game Boy Advance, when I got Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town, I plugged that in at the bottom at the same time as you have DS in. And then there were more characters. Because you could then start to romance or even just talk to all of the characters from Friends of Mineral Town. And they connected those characters with the characters from DS. So my favorite from Friends of Mineral Town was Karen.
Yeah.
And then she was the cousin of Celia, who's my favorite from DS.
Ooh.
And it was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And then when I started working and I had a big girl job, I got Harvest Moon DS Cute, which is the girl version.
Yeah.
And then I got Harvest Moon More Friends of Mineral Town, which is also the girl version.
Mm-hmm.
And then in both of those games, I romanced Cliff. Because he's my favorite.
Hey.
So I could do it simultaneously in both games. I was nuts. I married him twice in the course of a month. It was great.
I forgot about the connectivity between the Game Boy Advance games and the DS games if you had them both plugged in at the same time. Because Pokemon had some connectivity like that too, where you could get specific Pokemon if you had Emerald plugged in.
Yeah.
That's, oh my goodness. I had the original DS, right? Which DS did you have? Which one did you have? This is a big thing that you're about to answer.
I know. I had the DS Lite. I did play with my friend's original DS, but I preferred the DS Lite.
That's fair.
And one would think, oh, you had the pink DS Lite? No, I wish I had the pink DS Lite. I was also going through my scene phase at the time.
Oh, so
I was an early scene phase kind of kid.
Yeah.
So obviously I had the red and black one.
Of course.
Of course, because I was so edgy.
When edgelord. you la 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 la. I have Harvest Moon Cute.
Pretty much. And
get down with the sickness.
Honestly, you're not wrong. Because, I forgot, on PS1 I also played Spyro. And so my thing that I used to do, because I had an older brother who introduced me to things that were too old for me at the time, of course.
Yes, of course. As when, you know.
I would play Spyro on PlayStation 1, and then I would turn down the volume on the TV, and I would play Fall Out Boy's album, I forget which one. But I would honestly just cycle through a bunch of them. And I would listen to Fall Out Boy. I'm in 3rd grade playing Spyro. And I'd just be like, yeah, this is it. Dance, dance. I'm so edgy. And that's what I would do. That was my ritual in 3rd grade. And so obviously when I was in 4th grade and I got my DS when I was in 5th grade. When I was in 5th grade and I got my DS, I got the black and red one.
Oh, okay.
It's a DS Lite. I like that one the most.
I had the OG real chonky DS, but I had it in the sapphire blue.
Everyone did.
Yeah, I loved the sapphire blue one.
It was good.
It was really good. And then I made the horrible mistake of getting another. And I got a DSi.
You got the DSi.
I got the DSi. I don't know why. I thought it was gonna be better than it was, but the camera sucked. There was no benefit to having the DSi. They removed the Game Boy Advance cartridge from it. Yeah. You can't play Game Boy Advance games. Which I was I didn't think it was gonna matter that much. But then all of the charging plugs became standard to DSi. And so my regular DS has been bricked for so long.
Aww.
Because I don't have the right charger because I lost it.
RIP.
So whenever I want to play Game Boy Advance games like Breath of Fire or Breath of Fire 2, which are the superior ways to play those games, I have to play it on my old Game Boy Advanced. Which I don't even have a Game Boy Advance SP. I just have an old clunky Game Boy Advance. Although it has Pikachu on it, which is dope.
Oh, that is dope.
Like, it's like a gold, like, Pokemon Center one. I don't know how my parents found it when I was a kid, but it's cool.
That is cool. But we haven't even talked about my favorite DS game yet.
Okay.
Which
hit me with
you
it.
would not expect this at all in any way whatsoever.
Okay.
Because it's a third-party game.
Okay.
I don't even know who it's by.
Okay. Oh.
So, it's this game called Theme Park. And
Theme Park.
Theme Park.
Okay.
It's a knockoff of Roller Coaster Tycoon. And my parents got it for me for Christmas one year because I wanted to play a theme park game.
Yeah.
And they found it in, like, the used game section. It was, like, $6.
They took you very literally. I want to play a theme park game. Oh, let's get a theme park.
I mean, they listened.
Yeah, I mean, they listen like hawks.
Yeah. And to be fair, I wanted Nintendo's Dachshund version, which they got me. Sorry, Dachshund. And they also got me this theme park game. And I don't even know why, but I think that it's low-key the reason why I like marketing now. Like,
that low-key makes sense if it's similar to Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Yeah, because, like, okay, at first you start the game, it's exactly like Roller Coaster Tycoon in the sense that, okay, you have to get this park up and running and you have to meet certain criteria in order to say that you're doing a good job. And, okay, you start with, like, the kiddie rides and then you open up the different shops and, okay, now you gotta get a janitor. And it's literally, like, one for one.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. The thing that's really enjoyable about it for me is, well, okay, there's two things. One, there's this whole back-end aspect to it, just like in Roller Coaster Tycoon, I imagine. I don't know, I haven't really played Roller Coaster Tycoon. Mm-hmm. We should do that. Anyways.
Ooh, that would be really fun, actually.
Yeah. Ooh, on stream.
We could, like, actually, like, play it. We have a PC now.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I've never had this power.
Let us know if you like that. Anyways.
Yeah, let us know if you want to watch us play Roller Coaster Tycoon.
But there's this whole, like, finances thing, and you could get out loans and, like, do all this stuff and build your park and then market it, and you could set up advertisements and get more people to come to the park. And it was so interesting. I think that's, like, kind of why I like marketing now.
I feel like it has to be, because that sounds so stressful and overwhelming to me. But I don't know anything about marketing, and I don't like that. So that makes sense that because you're so inclined to that kind of thing, that this game would be like, ooh.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I really liked about this, and I don't know if this is in Roller Coaster Tycoon, but it was in Theme Park, and it was so much fun. Okay, so there were, like, these troublemakers that would come in, and they would, like, mess up stuff at the park, and your janitors, you'd have to, like, hire more of them, and then you would have to hire security. And they would make sure that, like, kids weren't being bullied by these, like, tough guys who would come.
Like the ruffians.
Yeah. And they would come and they'd, like, bully kids. And then the kids would be like, I wish there was security here because I'm not having a good time. And you could, like, follow one. I know you can do this in Tycoon games where you can follow just, like, one person and watch their whole experience throughout the park. And they'd be like, oh man, I wish there were more bathrooms, or like, I'm having so much fun, that ride was great, or that ride was too intense and now I have to throw up, or something.
Yeah.
And one thing that would happen is these tough guys would come in. And so I found out that even though I hired a bunch of security, I ended up hitting this glitch where they, like, would not leave the park and the security couldn't kick them out. And so I got a bunch of these decorative hedges and I would try and figure out how to lure all of the tough guys into the topmost corner of the map.
You created prisoners?
I created prisoners. And then and then I would, like, create a path so that everyone could go watch them like a zoo. It was crazy.
Oh my god. That's, like, kind of... How old were you?
13.
That's sadistic.
I feel like this paired with what I did to my Nintendogs in the last podcast. Like, I'm not an okay person, maybe.
You're showing some dark side. The DS brought it. It's the edgy red and black DS. That's what did it. The red, like, put red into your eyes. Like, fed your aggression.
It really did. I'm sorry, everyone.
That's hilarious. I feel like, low-key, I could talk about the DS for, like, ever. Because I'm just looking back at our game shelf, and there are just so many, like, unique games on the DS. Like, The World Ends With You. That was on the DS.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I experienced Chrono Trigger for the first time.
Yeah.
Like, all of the Pokemon games. There are so many Pokemon games.
Mm-hmm.
Bonkers. Bananas.
We should have a DS episode.
Literally, okay. Actually, we're asking a lot of you this week. But if you want to hear us just talk about the Nintendo DS, like, even more than this, like, let us know. Because I feel like we've barely scratched the surface of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've hit, like, the major, like, the high highs. But we have, I don't know, I feel like there's so much. I feel like I have a lot of stories about just, like, DS hijinks.
Same.
So, I don't know. Let us know. But we haven't even gotten to our favorites.
I think our favorite is probably the same.
Yeah. Look, recency effect, I would imagine.
1, 2, 3. Switch. Yep.
Okay, it has to be Switch for me. Just because we own more Switch games than we do any other kind of game.
Yep.
Like by far. Because I have never had a console where we almost want a new game every other month because they just release so many just like high quality or high experience games. Because even if they don't like look the best, they'll probably like play the best, i.e. Legends Arceus. Or like maybe it's like not the best game you've ever played, but it's still really good and really unique, like Octopath Traveler. Or it is the best game you've ever played, like Breath of the Wild. Like, there's just so much crazy good stuff, both first and third party, churning itself onto the Switch. It's ridiculous.
Yes, and I love it because for someone like me where I love playing handheld, but I like playing party games a lot, I guess everyone like does have a Switch now, but for a long time, a lot of our friends didn't have Switches.
No, yeah.
It was really weird. And so we got these party games on our Switch, and then that made our Bachelorette joint party very, very fun.
Mm-hmm.
Because we would play, Mario Kart? Tons of Mario Kart.
Lots of Mario Kart, some 1-2 Switch,
Mm-hmm.
which was my best man's 1-2 Switch. We don't own it.
Yeah.
Lots
of Smash.
Lots of Super Smash Brothers.
And then when Mario Party came out, or like the new one.
Yeah, but like also Overcooked, we played.
Yes.
Overcooked 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta be specific on that. But like, there's just so much to do with it. And then, like you said, Mario Party.
Yeah.
The best racer ever just released for it, Chocobo GP.
Oh yeah, just nothing better.
Nothing could top Chocobo GP, really.
The soundtrack, it's gonna
stellar.
So many awards.
I have trouble going back to that.
Yeah.
Because whenever I play it, I just like can taste the gauze in my mouth after my wisdom tooth surgery.
Yeah.
Ugh. Okay, we need to... Why else do you like the Switch? We need to move past that.
Well, I mean, I really like it because it's handheld, but you can also plug it into the TV and everything.
Yeah.
And so it works for both of us because I can play handheld and you can play on the TV and we can both have a really good time playing the same game.
Yeah.
Especially with digital downloads. I love that they have that whole thing where you can have multiple profiles and so you can kind of like cheat the system. And, I mean, it's not really cheating the system. I think they have
Don't
it set
listen to us, Nintendo.
No,
No.
It's totally set up this way because of family profiles.
Yeah, of course, we're not breaking any rules, Nintendo.
I think they know.
Sakurai.
I think they know.
We love you.
But, okay. So,
he's not even technically with Nintendo. He just does a lot of Nintendo games. Anyways.
If you digitally download a game, like, what's one we did it with?
Harvest, Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town.
Yeah. So if you get the digital download for Pioneers of Olive Town and you put it on one of your profiles, then the other person who is also connected and has the same profiles because you're like married or in the same family or whatever, then they can open it and they can play it at the same time as you, so you can both be playing Pioneers of Olive Town, but you only have to buy one copy of the game. And it's so nice.
It's so nice.
I love that.
And that's just like been really nice for us with specific. Really, we've only used that for Story of Seasons games.
Yeah.
I don't think there's been anything else. Because that is the drawback of the Switch, is if you do digital download, there's so little room on the Switch itself.
Yeah. But I got an SD card for Christmas from your brother, so
ooh,
I'm living it up.
I need an SD card.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. I'm running out of space on literally everything but the PC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops.
Who would have thought that you get, like, a salary and suddenly you start buying a lot more games? It's a gift and a curse.
Yeah. But the Switch, I mean, like, it's just so good. The Joy-Con drift, womp womp. But, like, everything else...
Yeah, but, like, Joy-Con drift is, like, it's bad. We have 2 Joy-Cons that we need to send out for drift-related issues.
Mm-hmm.
But they do fix them for free, to be fair.
That's nice.
Which, saying to be fair, it shouldn't be an issue in the first place with how much Joy-Cons cost. $80! I was just looking into it. $80 for a pair of Joy-Cons. That's more than a PS4 controller. That's ridiculous. And if you only want to buy the right one, which they know everyone only wants to buy the right one, $50-some.
I hate that.
It's not even half. It's not even half. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. That is some, because they know people like me, because I was ready to buy another pair of Joy-Cons because I didn't feel like shipping them out, and they know there are people lazy like me.
Marketing.
That is thievery. That is highway robbery.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Nintendo. But even still, I actually really love the Joy-Cons and how they feel when you put them in the grip.
Yes.
Like, I have a Pro controller now, but I almost kind of miss the Joy-Con controller.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I still really like that, because it has so much personality, and it's so different from any other. Because the Pro controller, it looks the same, it feels the same as, like, any other controller. Like, you know, there's minor differences here and there, but the more and more time goes on, the controllers are all starting to feel the same. And so with the Joy-Con controller, that feels different enough. I'm just like, oh, it's a breath of fresh air.
Breath of the Wild.
Great game. Great game. Second one got pushed 2023. Kind of sad.
We called that.
We did. We did 100%. Still sad, but like not shocked.
Because our initial guess was going to be November, but then when we found out... What game's coming out in November? Pokemon,
Violet and Scarlet.
Yeah.
In September, Xenoblade 3.
Yeah. So we were like, oh, it's getting pushed back.
Yeah, there's no way that they would make Breath of the Wild 2 compete with another Monolith soft game.
Mm-mm.
Let alone their flagship franchise. Because you know, there's no way Monolith Soft didn't build like half of Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah.
If not the majority of it, because they built the majority of Breath of the Wild 1. Because they're, like, I've used the word elite so much. They are god tier world builders.
Yes.
But, so, yeah, Switch, by far our favorite console. I could go, like, again, just like with the DS, I could go on and on about, like, every game that I love on the Switch, but there's just so much to love.
Yeah, what's your favorite right now? What are you playing?
Oh, we going to what we playing, what we watching?
Yeah.
I really like Rune Factory 5.
Oh, wow. I'm so surprised.
Have you seen me playing it?
Only for like 50 hours.
Okay, no. We discussed this yesterday.
Fine, like 40.
Like 38. Excuse you. Third, no. Before, at the end of the night last night, it was 35. And I did not play it for 5 hours today. I would say we're probably closer to 36 if we're being honest, which, don't get me wrong, still way too much for how long it's been out.
When we go to PAX, you're just gonna, like, bow down to Xseed.
You're right. Xseed and Marvelous, I'll be like, thank you for the gift you have given me. I love Rune Factory. Because, like, Harvest Moon's, like, cool, right?
Yeah.
Like, and, like, Story of Seasons and all that. Like, it's really, really fun. I love the farming sim aspects. Like the romance stuff, like, you know, is fun. Like, that's an interesting dynamic. But, like, I don't know. It all feels very samey after a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you play it once, you've played it a lot, you know? And I've never played I've always wanted to try Rune Factory, but I've never played it before. And the fact that this is a wholesale JRPG with the farm sim and, like, life sim aspects to it added on, oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. I love the fantasy aesthetic of everything and everyone. I'm focusing on completely different things than I would in a traditional Harvest Moon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really like dungeon crawling in this game. Like, the dungeons aren't anything special. There's lag, there's frame drops, whatever. Like, it's not a perfect game by any means, but I really like it. And I have never played a game like this where I actually want to raise the affection level of literally everyone in town.
Wow.
Like, everyone.
It's work.
It is work. But, like, it's engaging. And they actually show you where the heart events are, or, like, random, like, town events are. So I'm doing literally the girls, the guys, because, like, regardless, which I don't know if this is the first game that's let you do this, regardless of if you start out with, like a male presenting or female presenting character, they let you marry anyone. Any of the marriage candidates.
They started that with, I believe, More Friends of Mineral Town.
Okay.
But they renamed it to, like, a friendship.
Oh, yeah, the best friend system.
Yeah, the best friend system. And then they brought it over to DS Cute, and you could do it there too. And then they brought it over to, I think you can also do it in Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town.
Okay.
But, like, the earlier games, they called it the best friend system, and you just, like, decided to adopt a baby with your best friend, I guess, at some point. Like, it... And it's funny, because you still couldn't do, like... If you were a guy, you still couldn't marry guys. It was only girls who could, like, marry, in air quotes, their best friend, who was a girl. So it was only in the girl games. But, yeah, this is a recent development. So, wow. You can, like, really just go for it now.
No, yeah. Like,
That's
you can
great.
do hard events for... I don't know if they differ, like, how, like, they're structured. Because I've only, like, played as a male character. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if they differ. I don't think they do.
Probably not.
There's no way that they redid all of them for, that differentiation. So I imagine they're all exactly the same, which I think is really... Just, like... It's a small thing. It's an overdue thing. But I think it's a really cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been, like, low-key, like, romancing literally everyone in town. Because I guess my character's a player. But I just, like, want to, like, get all the content. I don't know. I'm really having a lot of fun. If you like those kinds of games and you like the fantasy aesthetic, play Rune Factory 5. It's my obsession. I'm only in summer.
Wow. That's crazy.
Ugh. Oh, so good. But are you playing anything in particular?
Yes. Right now I'm playing The Sims.
Mm-hmm.
Because they had this big sale and they had, like, all of the different expansion packs were, like, half off or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided to finally, because we have a PC now and I can play The Sims 4, I downloaded University.
Yes.
And I also got seasons because I was just working with the base game deluxe. So I think it came with Get to Work.
Mm-hmm.
And so all I had for expansions was Get to Work for the longest time. But I also wasn't playing for the longest time because I didn't have a way to play. So.
Which, it's, like, doesn't create kind of... This is kind of what you were saying to me, I think. It makes it get stale very quickly without the expansions.
Yeah, it really does. Especially when there's not seasons. Seasons changes the game so profoundly because when every single day is just the perfect sunny summer day, it is so boring.
Yeah.
Like, you need rain. You need snow. You need the leaves to change and fall. Like, I can't.
You need a woman to be struck by lightning as she's walking down the street. That happened 4 seconds into you starting to play.
It did. It was very funny.
And she walked it off. She was a champ.
Yeah, she was like, rain, snow, sleet, hail, I'm the mayor.
Get to the office.
No, she was a mail carrier.
Oh, my goodness.
Those people are indestructible, so.
Props.
But yeah, I really like skill building, and I really like, which is funny because I hate that in literally everything else. But in The Sims, I like skill building. Mm-hmm. And so I got university because that's all just skill building, literally, the entire time. Mm-hmm. It's just like making them go to class and work on presentations and build up their skills. And so that's why I got university. And then I got seasons because it gets so boring if you don't have seasons. So maybe during the next sale or during some holiday in which I receive gifts, I'll get cats and dogs. But
as a cat's walking on you.
Yes. I have a little Pocky in my arms right now. You're so cute.
She needs affection sometimes while we're talking. But, yeah. Are you watching anything in particular? Have we watched anything?
No, not really. I haven't really been in a watchy mood. I can't really, like, stay stagnant for too long for some reason.
Yeah. I watched another, like, couple episodes of Black Clover. Still very good. And Attack on Titan is done with the final season for a second time, which I've seen a lot of discourse over this over the past day or so since the Attack on Titan finale of Part 2 was released, as to whether or not it's a good thing that it's being broken up into a third part. To which I say, it's good to give these poor animators a break, and I agree with that, 100%. Just make them different seasons.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way they didn't know that this was going to happen from day one. Like, they totally knew that they were going to break it up.
Yeah.
And so just don't call it the final season for 3 years. And this is coming from the higher ups. Like, no shade to anyone who's actually, like, breaking their backs to animate this or voice act or, like, any of that. This is the higher ups who are, like, marketing like this and decide, like, making these big overarching calls. Mm-hmm. Like, yes, I have been hyped for 2 years. I don't care anymore.
Aren't you just going to read the manga now?
I don't even like reading manga, but I'm just going to read the manga because I don't care. Like, I just want to know. Mm-hmm. Like, apparently there's not that much left. So just, like, either finish it or, like, you should have just called it a different... Like, Mappa's got a lot on their plates with Chainsaw Man, Jujutsu Kaisen, Attack on Titan, something else I think that's really popular. Like, but calling these past 2 seasons, essentially, because they're kind of long, the final season, just call them different seasons, please. Like, that would have kept my hype up. Because then, going into this part 3, I would have been like, okay, this is the final season 6 or whatever. You know? Mm-hmm. I don't know. Like, call them mini seasons. I don't care. Like, because they're not, like, full, but, like, they're not, like, I've seen shorter anime than these parts.
Yeah.
I'm so frustrated. Like, I don't care. I don't care anymore. Those are my feelings about Attack on Titan.
I mean, our cats also have a lot of feelings, and I feel like they're fighting their own titans or something. Like, they're going wild.
They are going wild. But Yeah, so is there anything else you would like to talk about?
I don't think so.
I don't think that there's anything I want to talk about either. So that'll do it for this week's episode of ThoughtCast. So if you like this kind of content, you want to hear us talk about more of these nerdy things, or if there's a topic that you want us to talk about, make sure to comment down below if you're watching the YouTube video, rate us 5 stars, leave us a review. It would make Allie cry, as we discussed at the top of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good tears, so we want those tears to happen.
They need to come out one way or another, so...
Yeah, and we want them to be happy, not sad. And because we would use those tears as a gift to the algorithm gods.
Ah.
Yes. We want to... That got weird.
Sacrifice.
Yeah, that got weird. But do it anyways. Because we'll appreciate it. And as always, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, a fantastic rest of your week, and why not even a fantastic rest of your month, and we will see you next week. Later.
See ya.